He remembers you, and it was funny. Last night I was on the internet, and we had set up this interview, and the fella had emailed me the day before. He said, "Do you ever do any CCC programs?" And I said, "Yes, sir, we do." I said, "We mostly in the summer, but we can set that up anytime, take you for a tour up there." And he said, "Well, there's a gentleman that lives next to me, Claude, that has told us lots of stories about." That was his name.
He sent me a copy of what your reply.
So that's what I said. I said, "Funny you should mention that." I said, "We've got an interview with him tomorrow." And I haven't got his reply back yet, but
Doug's a fine fellow.
he seems
Actually, they're friends of her and her
Are
husband.
they?
Yeah.
Well, we'd be glad to take. We enjoy taking the tours on that.
I didn't realize you did CCC tours.
Well,
Sounds like you've been doing them for a while.
Yes, ma'am. Mostly in the summer, but we could do them anytime. I've got them online, so that if somebody says, "Hey, I got a group that'd like to go up," any of us can do a tour up into the camp. Just a little walking tour and show them the camp, tell them about the program and this, that, and the other. And then we do them usually once a week during the summertime. And we even have a uniform, an old work uniform that they dress up in, and they'll kind of talk in first person like they were.
So I wonder, the ones they had at Pickett, they were supposed to have been close to genuine, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
They were denim, right?
Yeah,
But that's not what he wore.
We wore mostly Army clothes. In fact, we made about every 3 months, we made a trip to Fort Oglethorpe to turn in old clothes and pick up new.
Now you had tan? Did you have the tan breeches, or had you gone to the Spruce Green?
Can I get a copy of this video? Okay,
Uh,
'cause I
dress
brought
uniform.
some, but I'd rather use yours if you.
We were khaki.
It's a
Tan khaki,
Yeah.
right?
right off into
And the shirt.
Yes.
Because the old pictures that I have, but now they were the early 30s, showed tan khakis.
Yeah.
We all have a question.
It's not a
about,
standard format.
See, that's
It's got a
khaki.
digital
Yes, sir.
format. So
We all have a question about the ties. Were they green or black?
Black.
They were black.
I'll get you a copy.
Okay, so you think it'd run like on?
We weren't
like a
sure.
computer
That's a
video
question we.
Pictures, that's what
we
I copied
had.
off on the DS.
Okay.
Mark, are you ready?
Yeah, go, you're good.
Let me start, if you don't mind, by telling us where were you born and when? Do you mind?
In
telling?
Polk County.
Polk County?
Yeah, down around Benton, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
You know, Benton, Copperhill, and Uptown are in Polk County.
Okay.
And we were in the lower end, right on the Hiawassee River.
On the Hiawassee. And were you raised down there?
Yes.
And how old were you when you were raised down there? When did you leave, and what did you leave to come to camp? Or?
Well, no. Actually, during the bank failures, my dad lost everything he had. And he had scrounged and saved to buy his own place. We were tenant farmers. And just about the time I graduated from high school, he found one and bought it. We moved to McMinn County. And I actually left McMinn County and came to camp.
Came to camp for McMinn
I
County.
was 19.
You were 19. What brought you to the camp? Why did you go to?
Well, there wasn't any jobs.
Wasn't he?
And we knew a fellow that kind of in politics
Mm-hmm.
that asked me, "Why don't you try it?" So I did.
You did. So you started at the camp about when? You remember the date?
Early 1940,
Early 40. Spring, winter,
spring,
in the spring of 1940. And you stayed there for how long, sir?
a year.
1 year.
Yeah.
You did 2 stints, so to speak. You
No,
had 6 months.
one year stint.
1 year
Yeah.
stint. Because I thought stints were 6 months, but they were. You could do a 1 year stint too.
Yeah, you could do it 1 year,
You
yeah.
could. Okay.
And I left there then, and jobs were beginning to open up,
Mm-hmm.
and got a job at Alcoa at the aluminum company.
At the aluminum company. And then you're now in Oak Ridge here Is that where after you got out of CCC camp, did you go into the service or did you?
Oh, yeah, I went out of the CCs to Alcoa, and then Pearl Harbor happened, and I joined the Marines.
Did you really? And you went where in the Marines?
Pacific.
To the Pacific? You know, any of the islands over there?
Well, several of the islands.
Several of the islands. And then when you got out, I know you said you were a retired electrician, so.
When I got out, I went back to school, trade school, and went to work first on construction, and then later with carbide.
Okay. And when you joined the camp, did it look like, pretty much like what we have here? Do you have in other words, how was the camp, was there a particular dorm that you stayed in, that you remember?
Yes. That's exactly how it looked.
Okay.
And, see, here's a barracks, and there's a barracks. That's where the workers stayed. But as it turned out, I got to be supply man, and being the first sergeant right in the end of this supply building had
A dorm, a bed?
a bed, yeah. Bed and a dresser, that's all we had.
Now, that building was,
Right at the end of the big cafeteria.
yes, sir. Let me take a look here. Here's your cafeteria, so you were right in here,
Right,
correct?
yeah, right in there.
Okay. But first you were in one of these two dorms up here. is
Yeah,
that right?
that's where everybody stayed.
Okay, okay. And tell us what you remember were some of the major projects that you remember working on while you were at the camp.
I didn't work on many of the major projects. There's a little story there. Everybody that went in, and there was 20 of us came from Athens up, had 4 days fire training. And then they were assigned to crews that went to the fish hatchery and the tree crop nursery. And they broke us out to assign us to crews, and assigned everybody but me, and left me standing there. I was scared to death. I thought they were gonna send me back home. And when they got through, the little lieutenant came by and says, Jenkins, follow me. And I followed him up the trail. I don't know whether I could, anyway, up to his office, which was right there.
Yes, sir.
And he said, you just happen to be the only one in the 20 with a high school education. And our supply sergeant is leaving in 2 weeks, going into the Marines. And do you think you can do that job?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can certainly try. So I got that job, and I stayed in the camp except when I helped the rest of the staff take food out to them, take them lunch a lot of times.
Okay.
And if they were fighting fires out in the woods, wherever. And that was my job during the whole time I was in.
The whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what projects they were working on?
Oh, yes. The fish hatchery was below the dam, you know.
Yes, sir, right there on Powerhouse Road to the left,
Yes.
correct? Yes, sir.
It was divided into ponds,
Okay.
and they started with the fish eggs up here, and they worked them down to where they took them out to turn them loose wherever they would go.
Okay.
And then the tree crop nursery was on Eagle Bend in Clinton.
Down at Clinton, probably where the fish hatchery is today, or in that area?
Well, I don't know how it looks today, but
And so
half of the crews
would go to
would go to every morning would go to the Creek Rock Nursery, the other half to. And the man that run the fish hatchery lived in that first house. There was only one house there then. When you pass the old mill coming in, the house up in the edge of the woods there, that's where he lived.
Okay.
His TVA.
TVA, yeah, okay. That, wasn't a two-story house, was it?
I don't
I can't
remember that.
I've got a picture of one of those houses, but okay, so they worked on the fish hatchery and they worked at the tree nursery. You said they fought fires?
Oh, if another camp like SP9 was over in Norris Dam,
Mm-hmm.
if they needed help, we'd pull loose and help them.
I think you and I had talked about maybe they were doing some work on Big Ridge. Do you remember that?
No,
No,
I don't think we ever did any work on Big
you
Ridge.
never did any work on Big Ridge, okay. When did the camp, so you stayed a year, did the camp end when you left?
No,
It stayed
no,
working another?
it stayed at least another year.
Okay. You being the supply officer would have known exactly what the issue was. What was the issue when you came in as an enrollee?
Everything from head to toe.
So a blanket,
Oh, yeah,
a mess kit,
two blankets,
two blankets,
your mess kit, your underwear, and your khaki.
underwear, and your khaki. So you had a dress khaki
Uh-huh.
and a tie, and then they issued a work uniform.
Yes, and
It was a denim
long handle underwear for winter time.
and long hair.
Yeah,
And that cap, I guess, was.
yes, and I still have it hanging in the basement.
The denim, it was a blue denim, right, that was the work uniform?
Yes.
It was.
Mhm.
And boots, did they issue boots?
No, just shoes.
Just shoes,
No boots.
dungaree type shoes
Yeah.
of some sort. What about a shaving kit? Did they issue a shaving kit? Because I've seen some on eBay.
They probably did. I just don't remember whether we furnished our own or if they issued it. Probably issued one when we first went in. You probably had to take care of it.
Okay. We've often had questions about the tie, and you and I, spoke about that, because some of us thought it was green and some of us thought it was black. But looking at your picture here in the canteen, I was able to identify some of these items in here, a Baby Ruth bar and a Clark bar. What else might they sold in here? That just
Cigarettes.
cigarettes?
I sold, or they sold, this is the canteen operator. He sold cigarettes 15 cents a pack or 2 for a quarter.
Cigars?
Probably.
Because I thought I saw a cigar box.
I never smoked, but
And
they probably had them.
what, I know soda pops and
Yeah,
tobacco
kind
products.
of like the old-fashioned drugstore where you got Coke, ice cream, or whatever.
Okay. Because, I know you were drinking a pop there, the head Cokes, of course, and what, have you ever heard of Hartman's? Was Hartman's a drink that folks had down there?
I don't remember.
I remember finding a Hartman's bottle.
You have to buy it, or is it available? You have to buy it?
Yeah, nickel.
Did you send most of your money home? Did they put it away? How did they do
I
that?
had nothing to do with it. I only got $5.
You only got 5
Yeah, and they sent the rest of it to my mother.
to your mother. Interesting. I'm not asked what building you lived in. When you were at the canteen here, what was inside that building?
Rec room.
Such
They had 2 pool tables and a couple of ping pong tables
Okay.
and regular rec room.
Okay. Library?
Now, the library was in the education building. It was on past, it was between the officers' offices and the rec hall. The canteen.
And there was a library there.
In fact, I took a typing course there.
Did you really? Do you remember, some of the courses they did teach while they were there?
There wasn't a whole lot.
I know they said training was a big part
Yeah,
of it.
training was a big part, and I guess most anything you could ask for, they would get a little on it.
Okay. I know that I've seen auto mechanics and things
Mhm.
like that. In the ball field, the sandy area, what kind of activities took place in there? I mean, it was.
Softball, baseball, and races.
Horseshoes?
Yeah,
Horseshoe?
horseshoe, just things like that.
Did you all have a team that went and played other teams?
Uh-huh.
You did? You had some teams that went and played
But-
other.
There was only one close count by, but we played some city teams, like it was Cold Creek then, Lake City now,
Yes, sir.
and Norris and
What was the other camp that was nearby? That you
SP9.
Which was located?
When you turn in off of 441 to turn into Norris going from here,
Yes, sir.
it was on the left down in that holler.
CCC Camp Road, I think.
It's
is what
a
it's called.
subdivision now.
It is, it is. That's the one that caught on fire, did it not? There's one that caught on fire that we've read stories about. 3 fellows died in that fire.
That must have been before my.
That was probably in the early 30s is when we read about that. Guys, jump in anytime you have anything.
She said, what on the color of the tie? Did you?
Black.
It is black.
It is black.
Mhm.
But you go ahead.
Did y'all have any specialty patches that
No.
the camp were assigned to or anything?
No, we didn't.
You didn't have a camp patch?
Anything. What about stripes? Did they ever use stripes at your for?
No, they didn't use
Okay.
stripes.
I know this was an emblem that some of the officers wore, or the project managers, maybe.
Mhm.
You remember that one?
Yeah. The Forest Service people, we had a bunch of Forest Service people that stayed there a lot, and they wore those. And of course, so did we. Had a lieutenant and a captain, Army, that wore them.
Lieutenant and captain. And the Forest Service, they were the ones kind of heading up the project
Mhm.
for the most part when you were there.
They were actually working for TVA.
They were working for TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any, what about this emblem? Do you remember any, it looks like something they would have worn on a campaign hat. And I thought maybe some of the
Well,
head honchos might have,
the officers may have. I really don't remember.
don't remember that one. You got, of course, an honorable discharge paper. I've got one of these somewhere. And you still have that?
Probably, but I don't know where it is.
Okay. I've got all the pictures that you sent,
Yeah, your picture here is really better than the original.
I see the original there.
Yeah.
Is that one taken by you?
No, I'm in it.
You're in it, but I didn't know if you took it or not. And then I've got this
No,
one.
that's the same.
And there you are.
I've got one of them over there too.
And there's the retreat. Would you remember, I know the food was probably pretty good, right?
It was good.
3 meals a day, a packed lunch of some sort you would take to the troops in the
Yes.
field?
Uh-huh.
And what would that be, like bologna?
No, it was hot cooked meals.
Was it really?
We took it in cans and stuff that keeps it hot.
Oh, wow. Were they issued canteens?
Mm-hmm.
The troop, when they came in, they had canteens? I know they had mess kits, but.
That's what the canteen is. They took that with them and would take them other kinds of drinks.
We had, Lauren was interested, she likes to dance. She likes to swing dance. Did you all ever attend any dances?
We had a few dances there in the rec room, yes.
Did you? Swing dancing?
Mhm.
Is that what you remember? Any questions in particular? Did you go to any movies down in Lake City or go get hamburgers?
Clinton mostly.
You go to Clinton?
Yeah. We had a barber by the way, haircuts were 20 cents.
20 cents.
Yeah. We had a barber that lived in Clinton, and he lived off the camp. He
Okay.
didn't live. And he had a two-seated Model A, and he'd haul us to Clinton and back on weekends or whenever we wanted to go to a ball game or something.
So you go maybe to a ball game or
Yeah.
a movie, any movie
Movies.
theaters,
Yeah.
hamburgers, or get something in town. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but what's some of the memories you like, or that you enjoyed the most down there? Or some fond memories, or maybe even some tragic moments that may have happened that you remember while you were there? Or, both enjoyable and Mrs. Sharp sent me some tragic stories about them.
I can't remember any tragic stories at all
Okay.
while I was there. But, of course, people were a whole lot better then at making their own recreation than they are now.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we did, played checkers and ping pong and
Did you go swimming in the lake? You ever swim in the lake much? Did you ever
Yes.
go to the lake?
uh-huh.
Lake was fully completed once you were there,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
What about the park, the Norris Dam Park? Was it, all the cabins were already built?
There was cabins up there and there was a barn. We could go up and ride horses on Sunday afternoon. We had a trail from here up into the park,
Still there?
so we'd walk. Is it still there?
Yes, sir. Still there. I'm pretty sure if that's the one we're thinking about, goes up behind one of the cabins and then
Yes.
comes into the cabin. Was there a campground at that time when you were there in the?
There was some small campgrounds, more than one.
Because I read, because we've got one campground that's on the, what we call the east side of the park, and of course, we've got water and electrical hookups in there now, but we weren't sure exactly when that campground was built, so,
It was probably built where the horse barn was.
Yes, sir, that's where it is.
Yeah.
It was. And I read somewhere just recently, and I think it was a misprint, I know the CCC built one shelter up there, but they said there was three, somebody said there was three shelters, you just remember the one? I think,
I remember two,
you remember two shelters?
but I don't remember the third one.
I couldn't either. Did you attend any religious services while you were there? Did they offer
We
those?
went to, when we could get a ride, we hitchhiked a lot to different churches close, like the one out on the curve on the river when you head up toward Norris.
Island Home,
Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Baptist Church.
we've walked out there several times.
That was been there for over 100 years. When you saw movies in the amphitheater that you did, there at the camp, were they black and white movies? I guess
Black
they
and
were.
white.
Did they have sound?
Yes.
Do you remember one in particular that?
No, I don't.
No, okay. I was just curious.
It was right here, we sat on sandbags, right in here, and looking toward the road where it goes around.
We've kind of found where that was to begin, pretty much, but we haven't exactly. Guys, anything else you got? Go ahead.
Can I jump in a couple
You bet.
questions? You said you got 3 hot meals a day. What might have been in each meal? What did they serve?
Just like old country cooking, we had a meat and all kinds of vegetables, and they brought them to the table and you dipped them out into your plate and passed it around. But just about anything you could think of. We had our chef's name was Pop McLean. He was a big pot-gutted guy. And he was strictly in charge. Yeah.
He was the man.
Yes, he was.
If you wanted extra food,
You got
stayed
along.
on his good side.
You got along with Pop.
Tell them your arrangement. Do you want personal stories?
Sure, yeah.
Tell them the arrangement you have.
Oh, yeah, I sometimes I don't wanna sleep late. And he had strict rules about when him and his cooks came over and I let them change their clothes. It was ours and they could do that. And of course, he had rules about eating in the cafeteria too. So I had to deal with him. He could come and change clothes anytime he wanted to. And I could go eat breakfast anytime I wanted.
Did you gain weight when you joined?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because everybody I talked to said they gained weight.
Yes.
They put on weight.
And you know, there was a fellow told me the other day that had been a supervisor down in one of the plants. He said the best craftsman that he ever had that worked for him had originally been a three-seer. So they did pretty good training.
Yeah, that stands to reason. Because the old grease pits, they're still intact. All of our cabins are got the stonework from the CCC still intact. My house, stonework fireplace. So probably some of your all's houses still have the stonework fireplace. So they did good work. They did good work.
Well, we went down to Pickett, and they got my name the same way you did,
Through that.
and invited me over to when they put the statue up.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down there. They've got several of the old buildings left down there.
Mm-hmm. We wish we did.
Hey, Mike, yes, talk about the breakfast. What was a breakfast? Was it just oatmeal, or was it, did it have a
No.
ham, or a bacon, or a
Sausage and
grits?
eggs, bacon and eggs, most anything you'd want.
They made biscuits, or
Oh, yes, made homemade biscuits every morning.
And you had a certain time to eat, right?
Yes.
Between, you remember?
Oh, I'd say between 6 and 7.
Between 6 and 7?
Yeah,
After breakfast was reveille or before?
after.
After breakfast was reveille. So they went and ate breakfast, and then they ran to the dorm, put on their, or they were, most of them were already dressed, or how did that work?
And then they, as long as they got through by 8 o'clock when they broke out for work.
So they broke out to work at 8. So would they dress to come to breakfast, or usually be in their work?
Any way they wanted to
Any
dress.
way they wanted to. Okay. And at reveille, you just stood at attention, you be in any type of uniform.
And roll call.
And roll call.
Yeah.
Yes,
When you said a lot of times you would help the guys take the food out to them when they're out at work sites, what kind of food would y'all generally take on those work sites? Do you know?
The same as we ate in the camp.
So it wasn't-
Whatever he had made for lunch, we took them. Which was usually a whole lot better than most of us were used to.
So would you have to carry big pots and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
out there? Did you help serve the food too?
Mm-hmm.
So how hard of a job would that have been? I mean, carrying all that food?
Oh, not bad. We enjoyed taking it out to them and watching them eat.
Did you get to eat before you went out there, or did you eat with them?
We ate before.
and you took it out in trucks, cars, trucks?
Trucks.
Well, you remember the truck? What type of truck it might have been?
Oh, they were regular army trucks with a tarp over them like a covered wagon.
Yes, sir.
Deuce and a half,
Deuce and a half,
maybe. Deuce and a half,
What?
like a deuce and a half.
Yeah.
they call Deuce and a half.
And we had one truck we kept in camp all the time, and I was telling her when we passed Norris. One of this gang right here, every day went to Norris post office, picked up the mail for the
Really?
old camp.
Well, that was another question. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it brings another question I had is, you and I discussed on the phone, you said you had showers. Were they hot showers?
Yes.
So they had water heaters back then?
Right there's,
They had water heaters in the camp?
there was
It was a
Bathhouse.
specific place that you went to down here,
Yeah.
below the gas pump?
No, right here, up here. When you go around this curve, there is, well, let me get this,
You got it.
right there. When you pass the cafeteria and go around here,
Yes, sir.
you went by the laundry and then the bathhouse, which always, both barracks had to use that one bathhouse.
And bathhouse. And so, well, I mean, I wasn't even sure about that, so, so y'all got hot
Yeah,
showers.
this little fella right here took care of the bathhouse.
Did he really?
Yeah,
His name was Pee Wee, wasn't it?
yeah, Pee Wee Reese.
Was there a time limit on your hot shower?
Not that I remember.
Just as long as you were back in line for.
Yeah,
How many showers were there, Junior?
about 6 on each side, I guess.
A lot of the camps around the country had these little tokens that you could use in town for goods and supplies. Did you remember anything in that camp like that?
No.
And but you did have a camp newspaper, right?
Oh, yeah.
Had a camp newspaper called, was it the CCC Happy Days? Is that what they called it?
Something like that,
Something
yeah.
like that. Did you how often did you go home while you were in the camp?
About once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
So home wasn't too far. How did you get home? Hitchhike or?
Hitchhike, sometimes into Knoxville and catch a Greyhound.
Catch your Greyhound?
And sometimes you catch a bus in Norris to Knoxville. And then,
They'd let you, a lot of times, go home for the holidays and things
Yeah.
like that?
Mhm.
Okay. Interesting. Go ahead, anybody else?
At roll call, if somebody was missing, what happened? What was the story? What was the
They,
action taken?
they'd find out right away, was he sick or has he gone AWOL or what? So I don't remember what the punishment would be if they were gone, but I don't know
Okay.
what that was, but there was hardly ever anybody missing.
Mr. Jenkins, when you took that food out to those gentlemen, what were they working on, and how close were they to this area? Do you remember what they were working on?
They were working in the fields,
In the field?
Yeah. on the lake, on the fish hatchery,
I see.
around
I got you.
things that needed to be done. And of course,
So they weren't building a whole lot. They were just maintaining facilities and keeping
Yes.
up the things.
and of course, at the tree crop nursery, they were harvesting trees and setting up new ones and all that.
Planting trees. So the two big projects you remember is the fish hatchery and the tree.
That was just about it for our camp.
What
Uh,
kind of trees were they growing mostly?
You know, I don't know, probably whatever TVA ordered, or whatever TVA furnished the seed for.
Got you.
What, do you stay in touch with anybody? Do you know of any fellows that are still at the camp that you served with?
I did, but they're all gone.
Stayed in touch with,
The man that run the blacksmith shop, he got to be good friends with the family later. Him and the carpenter came from Middle Tennessee over here and married local girls
okay.
and stayed here. And there's a little story about him too. I had been gone, well, of course, through World War II and different construction jobs, and I went on the job when we built K-33 down in the K-25 area. And I was going down the hall one day and I saw a fellow that looked familiar. And I asked somebody, I said, who is he? They told me. I said, no. So I waited till I met him. I said, hey, You look more like a cotton picking blacksmith than you do electrician to me. Or he didn't know anybody knew he'd ever been a blacksmith.
Really?
Yeah.
And you worked with him quite a bit?
Yeah.
What kind of things would they make at the blacksmith shop? I know.
Well, they were repairing tools
Okay.
and making tools and things like that.
Now, were you in charge of the tools?
No,
Just,
no.
okay.
No, he did that.
Okay. I didn't know if you issued tools
No.
or anything like that. What was a standard tool? Because I mean, I know that maybe the grubbing hoe,
Yeah, mattocks, shovels, and plows.
and plows.
They, I think, leased stock like mules and things where they needed them because they didn't need them every day. So, from farmers around.
Okay. And then they would plow up
Mm-hmm.
and plant the trees in the
Yeah.
plowed areas that they
Yeah, there's a picture of one in this book here.
of the trees. Let's see, there's a question, was there any nicknames in the camp that you remember? I know, or nicknames of the CCC that I know the 3 C's is one you've already mentioned.
Not nice names.
Roosevelt's, Tree Army is another one. Those are the ones that come to mind for you?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of them.
What was your fond memories of the camp?
Well, one thing was it got me off the farm,
Okay.
and my daddy was a worker. He worked us hard, and it got me started in life.
Okay. Got away from home and
Yeah,
kind of got out on your own, and
yeah.
I understand. How did the CCC, besides helping you get a start, did you learn any kind of trade while you were there, that so to speak? I know you said you're a supply officer, so that kind of.
No, not really. I learned to type a little and learned how to get along with people.
Yeah. Now, this book particular, where did it, what was
Well,
it?
apparently, they issued one like this back in the older days. And this fellow was leaving camp for a job or for some reason, and just didn't want it, so he left it with me. So I'd say it was maybe between 35 and 40, somewhere along those.
Between the years 35 and 40. I had read somewhere that there was a fountain inside the cafeteria or the canteen. Do you remember anything like that? A fountain, like a fountain that, like
A bird?
you know, like what am I trying to think of?
Like a decorative thing?
Yeah, like a
fancy
decorative fountain of some sort. I think that must have been in the camp that he was talking about in Norris, because I've got a picture of one.
I don't remember.
You don't remember a fountain of any type. So when you were doing your work, what kind of uniform were you wearing?
I just wore khaki.
You wore your khakis? And you had a specific place where people came to you, and then you said you worked with the food people as well, taking the food out to the
Yes.
field. And then for your supply officer duties, how would that work? Folks would come to you and say, hey, I ruined my pants, and can you issue me a new pair of
Well,
pants?
yeah, they could come and turn in a pair of pants and get a new pair.
And get a new pair.
And periodically, I guess once a month, we had an old grouchy colonel that came from the Army, and inspected the clothing that we were turning in to see,
If you were,
yeah.
keep doing it right.
I remember he'd take a red pencil and write ICI on it, I certify inspected. And
So were the majority of the boys your age, or how many, did you have any from World War I that you remember that were
no,
born?
we didn't.
Most of them?
Most of them were older than me. And
Did you think that when you were there, how many fellas you think were working there when you were there?
about roughly 200.
200.
Yeah.
Out of that 200, I don't know if you remember this, and you may have not known, I'm sure you didn't know everybody, but how much, just wonder how many were from Tennessee, how many were from other places?
Most of them were from Tennessee, but we did get one group in from out west. And they had been paid off out there in silver dollars. We had silver dollars galore around for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to remember that with the metal detector.
Yeah, I wish I knew then what I know now.
We've gone down there and did a little bit of the metal detecting trying to find, because I wasn't sure about that old tokens. I've seen them on eBay, you know, where
Yeah.
they would issue you 5 cents and you would get that to use in town, and that's the way they would pay you. That's it.
I don't think we ever had that.
Go ahead.
Could you, from the start of the day, from when you got up, could you explain like what a normal day would have been for you at the camp?
Yeah, we had reveille probably 5 o'clock in the morning. And we got cleaned up, shaved, everything, got dressed, and went to breakfast. And then we went out and had roll call and all this other we've already talked about. And then after breakfast, you got ready to go to work. And everybody worked the same hours, like from 8 to 5 or whatever.
So what happened after 5?
They,
I mean,
So
at
you're
the
all
end of the day.
Play ball, play checkers. Drinking wasn't allowed in the camp, but of course there was some went on. But I can't remember ever happening, except very little problem with drunks.
I'm sorry. When they played revelry, was it with a trumpet or they just played over a loudspeaker?
Loudspeaker.
Yeah.
wasn't a trumpet,
No, just
nobody knew how
it
to
was a
play a
band
trumpet,
of some kind.
but they just played over it.
They play taps at night too before you went to bed, or just revelry in the morning, wake you up?
Just reveille.
What was your favorite thing to do at night?
Wasn't much to do. Had a radio, listened to Lum and Abner, and,
Long and ever.
yeah, and Amos and Andy and things like that.
Did you ever play pool with them or anything?
What?
Did you ever play pool with them or anything?
Oh, yes.
Did y'all bet when you played pool?
Oh, nickel and dime.
Now, you said there was a little bit of liquor. Was there a fella in town that they went and got liquor from? Did they make it themselves?
Well,
Moonshine?
no, they didn't make it themselves. I guess it was pure old moonshine.
Moonshine.
Some of the guys probably had a certain place to go to get it, I don't know.
Around here, they
Yeah.
find it. Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
Lake
at night,
City.
at night,
or-
could they just leave?
What?
At night, could they just leave and go, or did it have to be as a group?
You had to check out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you checked out, you could go to Lake City on your own.
Wherever you wanted.
Okay.
But it was usually hitchhiking, so you couldn't go very far.
And was there a deadline of when you had to be back? A curfew?
Well, you had to be able to go to work the next day. No, they didn't have a bed check or anything
Okay.
like that.
Who did you check out with? Who was it that you checked out with?
Just other guys,
There wasn't-
except on weekends when they had a dance or something like that.
I mean, was there a sign out sheet or was there a person that you went to? Did you just have to sign out?
Just sign out. Went by the office and signed out.
Now, in the middle of the camp, we have found a drainage ditch that we understood led to a pond. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Because somebody was telling us at one time there was a pond and that drainage ditch led right down into that, near that
I
pond.
I don't believe there was a pond in camp when I was there.
Okay. Okay.
And of course, you know, part of the old garage is still there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, the garages, the grease pits are there, and then there was a garage to the, if you're looking at the pits from the road, the garage was to the right of it, is that correct? Okay.
And there was some building right here, and I studied, I don't know what it was.
Well, no, the first one that we thought was the officers' quarters,
Well-
like you said.
I don't remember how many of them there was. So, it could have been 4 or 5. Because you had quite a bit of people that slept over there. Forest Service, TVA, and our officers.
Well, tell me the hierarchy of how that worked. If you were, say, a private, I noticed one of the fellows was a lieutenant. How did he become a lieutenant?
He was regular Army lieutenant.
He was regular
And
Army.
was sent there. I don't know how they picked him, but
Okay.
he was sent there. They were from Fort Oglethorpe.
In Georgia. So pretty much all the recruits were on the same level.
Yes.
The recruits themselves didn't have rank,
Well, they had
seniority,
the troops, and then an assistant leader and a leader.
assistant leader.
They made a couple of dollars more a month.
Regular recruits.
Yes.
And then, so did an officer go with them, an Army officer go with them when they went out on the work
No.
duties?
Never. They just took care of the bookwork and the office.
In the camps?
Yeah. Assigned crews and things like that by paper. And the leaders would do the rest.
Do you remember any of the foremen that worked on the projects?
That's what the leaders were for. Yeah.
Okay, were they local men or?
They were CCCers
They were.
that had worked their way up.
Sir, was there anybody else from McMinnville? Did you say you were from McMinnville?
McMinn County.
Oh, McMinn County.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anybody that was friends with you from home that worked with you? Or
Nobody in that crew or bunch of 20 that I went in with, I didn't even know.
I see. What about back home? Did you have any brothers and sisters?
Oh, yeah. 8 of us.
Were they older or younger?
Well, I was right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of them ever do CCC work also, or they all
No.
do other things?
No. Most of the older ones were girls. And during the Depression, me and my older brother were the workhorses.
What did your brother do?
Well, he turned out doing a little bit of everything. He ran a store, he did a little farm work, and even sawmill some, and raised his family there in McMinn County.
I'm showing that you've drawn in a spring. You said there was a spring there?
It's still there. It's a big spring, right to the back corner of that shelter there.
Where the TVA shelter is now?
Uh-huh.
And it's the spring's in behind it. Well, that's probably the spring that feeds the aquatic fish lab, isn't it?
Well, there's a spring there.
Yeah.
And that's where y'all,
And that brick around it, we did that. And see, it comes out of the mountain, the spring does. We had drinkable water there, but I don't know if you want to drink out of it now or not.
so the water came from the spring and was pumped up to the rest of the camp, or?
No, this is way down on the road.
Way
This
down.
is way down.
So they had pipes running up here from the regular water?
No, I don't know where they got their regular water.
Okay.
I just don't know that. But this drainage now is poor, very poor. So I'd like to see it cleaned out.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't know where it goes. Probably goes under the road down there, into the river.
Do you remember any humorous events that happened to you while you were there that you often tell?
Well, yeah, we had a lot of fun out of the new guys coming in. We'd run them through belt lines and things like that.
Equip them with the belt when
Yeah.
they're in through,
And,
give them a little indoctrination.
yeah, we did that. Of course, it was kind of tough when we had to go. But after you had done it, you was all in favor of doing it to somebody else.
Yeah, oh yeah. If you could tell, if you could, of course, we know your experiences, but if there's one piece of advice or something about your experiences that what would you want people to know and leave with, say, future generations about Camp 494, TVA 45?
Well, what I would say, it's too bad that they don't have something similar now that would make men out of boys, and there'd be a lot less boys getting in trouble. It was, I don't know of anything they did that didn't help us.
I mean, we all here know the benefits that you and your comrades had to, building 800 state parks across the country, national parks, and the legacy that you guys left is amazing. But I agree with you that we need a camp like this. Speaking of that, did you have any physical training to go into the camp? Did they send you anywhere for a week or two? No. But you did have calisthenics and stuff they did?
Oh, yes.
And they do that daily, every morning, things like that? Different types of exercises. Does anybody else have any questions that I'm not thinking of?
I know you were only at the camp for a year, but were you able to participate in take any educational classes or anything like
Yes.
that? What kind of classes did you take?
Well, like I said, I took typing. I just had a battery go out there.
Uh-oh. Carry a spare?
Oh, yeah.
Would you be interested, or would you like to go down to the camp here in a little bit and look around? Would you have time to do that, and would you like to do that?
Be fine.
Because we'd like to take you on site and actually maybe ask you some questions here after a while before it gets too late.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fine. We've kind of got, things fixed at home to where we can, my wife's not by herself.
great, great. We appreciate you bring him up today. It's,
I enjoyed it.
And
It's a rare opportunity now.
it is, and of course, you said you were issued one of these books, weren't you? Everybody was issued one of these, enrollee handbooks, right?
Yeah.
This,
This one right here, I really don't have any need for it. There's nothing in there that, if you'd like to have it.
well, I'm not gonna say no, you wouldn't have to twist my arm for, I'll tell you. We've paid over $1,000 for a lot of the relics that we've
There
tried
is,
as well. but-
See, here's some plowing being done with a bulldozer.
Yes, sir. And that was all pictures from this campus?
Different camps
Different
all over
camps.
the country, yeah.
All over the country.
Yeah.
See, now that looks like dark uniforms. When'd you go, I
Well, I
know,
don't know. I don't know where this was made.
see, now we understood that eventually they came out with spruce green uniforms.
Well, this could have been dungarees. It looks black.
Like the dungarees,
Yeah.
the work uniform.
Oh, that was made at our camp. Roy Mary was the blacksmith I was talking about. So that's,
He's one
that
of
was
them.
made at our camp, but still
Yeah.
before my time.
Cause it's in the canteen, cause there's those pictures above the canteen. Picture of the camp, and you had a picture of some elephants.
Yeah.
I remember that. You know, you and I talked about some of the things they sold. I know they sold Baby Ruth, and there was something in there that I thought was odd that I was trying to, Rim-Aid, started with an R, maybe it was Rolaids or something. But I was just trying to think of all those things that were in those canteens. I know you said soda pops, and they sell shaving equipment or soap.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Stuff like that. Day-to-day type things that you would need on a day-to-day basis.
And that Mr. Howell was the head Forest Service man.
Their bosses named Mr. Howell now.
Mhm.
Yeah. And this guy's the one that run the education building.
We weren't familiar with the education building. That's a new one for us. Because,
See, here's some work at the tree crop nursery.
yes, sir. I can't, the number just fathoms me when I read about how many trees, you guys planted.
Yeah.
What kind of classes would they have in the education building? Do you remember?
Well, not exactly, no, but I think you could ask about certain things and they would arrange it. And get literature on it and have it for you.
Was there a library in the education building?
Yes, a small library, yeah.
Did you ever get to see anybody like Roosevelt when he came through, or anybody like that?
No,
He was a little bit before you got there, was it?
yeah, and it was, people around Norris were real proud that Eleanor Roosevelt was the first one drove across the dams.
She was?
Yeah,
Wow. First one to drive across.
yeah.
Mike, you read my mind. My next question was going to be, did you have dignitaries come by every now and then? And how often did that happen? And they make y'all try to dress up and clean up camp and try to put on a big show for bigger dignitaries that might have came through? Did that happen very often?
No, but when we checked out to go to town one reason we had to check out, they had to see that you was dressed properly.
Mm-hmm. So they wanted you to look nice.
Yes.
So that you could represent them.
Do you remember those things they call pie suppers?
Oh, yeah.
Did you go to any?
Yeah. In fact,
Those young ladies would cook pies to, is that right?
that's the way I met my wife.
Was it really?
Yeah, in the pie supper. Well, I bought her a pie,
You bought her pie?
yeah, and then we kinda,
But not here, right? Not while you were in the CCC with.
no. That was long after the CC days.
After the CCC. But you remember those in the CCC, you all.
Oh,
went
yeah.
To,
They had them in Clinton and Lake City.
how, I know you said you came in probably in the spring and was there in the summer. Did you stay through the winter of the following year some and
I think it was, see, I was over at Alcoa a little over a year, so it was probably late fall or winter when I left and went to Alcoa.
how cold? I just wondered how cold it was.
Oh, it was cold up in that holler.
Yeah. They had the pot-belly stoves, but they didn't do
No.
justice, did
They
they?
had 2 in each barracks,
Okay.
and we fired them ourselves, or they did.
Where'd you get the firewood? Just cutting trees around
Yeah.
the place? Really?
Did you have anybody in particular in charge of the stoves each night?
No. Of course, you had 2 leaders in each barracks, and they did that.
Did they have to get up simultaneously throughout the night and have to get it going or anything?
Well, somebody was always up to throw another stick of wood in.
If you want to stay warm.
Yeah.
You better. I know this is a crazy question. I know you said you had running showers. So in the shower room, was that where your toilets were? In the shower, so you had to, if you had to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, you left your barracks and had to go to that shower facility.
You had to go
To use the toilet?
down a set of steps and outdoors for a little ways.
Okay. So there wasn't any outhouses, that you actually had
No
toilets that flushable toilet. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the laundry, y'all had to wash your own clothes?
No, we had a man that run the laundry that did that for us.
Really?
I think there was 2 guys that worked in the laundry.
And so you just took your dirty clothes to them and they
Mhm.
washed them for, did you ever have to tip them boys or anything like that, or not
Yeah.
necessarily, that was their job, and
Yeah.
they had to do it?
Well, you said there was 200 boys.
Mhm.
Any girls ever sneak in?
Nope.
Better not have.
Now, we weren't allowed a vehicle. We weren't allowed to own a car. We were poor folks. And right on the last, my mother saved my money and gave it back to me. And I bought me a 35 Oldsmobile coupe. And I rented a garage for $1 a week from TVA in Norris Town. And I had to keep it over there. I couldn't park it in as if they didn't know I had it.
So what would you do, walk down to Norris and get your car?
Walk or hitchhike, or if the mailman was going in after mail,
Catch a ride?
catch a ride, whoever was going, yeah.
Was I know you were busy down in the camp, but did you ever get an opportunity to go up to the park itself here and
On weekends.
on weekends?
Yes.
And
It was almost free on weekends.
free on weekends. So you come up to the park and
Yeah.
hike, and you remember any trails that you used to
That
like?
trail up to the park where the horse barn was,
Mhm.
we used to go up there a lot, me and another guy or 2. Rode horses a lot.
I guess at that time you could ride horses back on the Norris watershed area, that part of the
Mhm.
park and part of the watershed area. Ride horses all back in there. Did they let the public got to ride the horses
Oh,
too,
yes,
didn't they?
yes.
Okay.
Did you have to rent to ride the horses, or were they free?
Yeah, the old fellow that run the horse barn was pretty good to us. He let us ride pretty cheap.
Just be a couple of you, or 3, or
Uh,
sometimes? They had quite a few.
Sometimes just 2, sometimes it'd be 3 or 4 of us.
So they had quite a few horses.
Oh, yeah. I'd say he had 8 or 10.
Did you really? 8 or 10? That horse barn was right there next to the campground that you were talking about.
Yes.
So I guess that, we were curious as to whether the CCC built those barns or not. And I,
Well, I'm not sure, they may have earlier.
right. Interesting. Now, there's some fish hatcheries, there's some stone, that we've always known as fish, they kept fish in, right below a waterfall, a man-made type waterfall on Lower Clear Creek Road, above the grist mill, going up that road, on the left, there's a little waterfall on your left. There was two or three troughs right there. Do you remember those being there, or do you remember having any to do with building those?
I remember them being there, but I don't remember who they belonged to.
Okay. Okay, so,
In fact, I drove through there with John, my son-in-law. He was a airline pilot. And he had a new, what was that first sports car he had? Anyway, we had to ford that creek, and he stopped when he got across it, and he said, I want a picture of this car in that creek. So I got in the car and backed it down into the creek, and he took my picture of this, his Volvo.
a Volvo.
A Volvo. Yeah.
Do you remember, the only camp that you remember offhand was the one that you were talking about, and because I've read several things about that camp, they said it overlooked the Lower Clear Creek Road and the grist mill, so that was the
SP9.
9 that you were talking about. So that camp was still up there,
Yes.
and there were still boys there working.
When I left, there
You
was.
left. Okay, it was interesting.
Now, down where we came from in Polk County, there must have been 4 or 5 camps in the Cherokee National Forest. See, Polk County is almost in the Cherokee National Forest. And on top of that mountain, there's a Lake McCamey that the Three Seas built, a man-made lake. It's a very popular place for people out of Cleveland and Chattanooga to go. And that's where we went a lot. You may have to pay to go there now, I don't know, but back then it was free.
It's free.
And they had all kinds of campground equipment that was big chestnut logs cut in half with the table, and then smaller chestnut logs cut in half was the benches
Wow.
that the Three Seas did.
Wow.
I can think of 4 that was in that area.
Do you remember, did y'all ever go down to the mill?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go inside and whatnot?
Yeah, I've been all through it.
Used to be something sitting on the outside to the left here. Do you remember ever seeing something off to your left? Do you remember seeing some kind of tool of some sort that sat to the left of the door? Do you remember anything about that?
No, no.
What about this house? Do you remember?
I think that's the one that the man that run the fish hatchery lived in.
Okay, that was the Longmire house.
Yeah.
And that was one right where you're right next to the camp road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was wondering if that was still.
In fact, it was the only house on that side of the road from where you turn up to go to Andersonville, on out to where you turn up to the camp.
Okay.
That was the only house there then.
Was that your all's inside of your,
That's similar to it.
similar but not it?
I'm not sure.
Now, that supposedly was the inside of some of the barracks here at Norris.
Yeah. Looks like it. And the bunks were really close together, just like that.
Just like that. What about a pillow? Was that standard issue?
Oh, yeah.
Pillow, blanket, sheets?
Mm-hmm.
They have sheets? So they did
Changed them once a week.
once a week on the sheets. And they have jackets. I know we talked about the uniform, but did you get jackets as well?
Mm-hmm.
You got a work jacket and a dress jacket?
No, just the work jacket, we never had our dress jacket.
Okay. Socks? They issued you socks or you?
Yeah, and the best I remember, they were year-round, they were wool socks.
Wool socks?
Yeah.
But you, any boxing in the camp?
Yes.
They had boxing matches?
Did
Did
them
they?
in the rec room.
Really? Okay.
And I guess a lot of people learned to shoot pool in there that never had seen a pool table before.
Never had seen one before. These are some early, you talking about working on the,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks familiar.
that's where the fish hatcheries were they not?
Yeah.
And they were digging them. Now, those are odd caps that they're wearing. Some of them look like, safari.
Well, they had a blue jean, a flop hat. Right. In fact, the matter, I took mine with me when I left, and my mother was a big gardener. And she took that hat over and wore it as long as she lived.
See, now, this was the new uniform that they supposedly issued in '39. But now you say it never made it to
I
here.
don't think so, no,
Never made it to Norris Dam. We weren't that special, were we?
I guess not.
They had that spruce green jacket and spruce green pants from what I understood. And I think that the tie changed to green, which is why we were curious as if the tie you had was black or green, because we weren't sure. And was that similar to a truck that would have brought?
Oh, yeah, just an old cattle truck.
One of the photographers was named Lewis Hines that would come in and take some of these pictures. I don't know if you,
That guy there smoking a cigar.
I saw that. This was the floppy hat you were talking about.
Yep.
Was it not? And did they have a basketball goal? Cause we never found one.
Yes, we had one, and we took it down in the winter time.
You did?
Yeah.
What about a band? Did they have any bands
They had a couple of guys
that could play?
pick a guitar, but
No particular band or, and you said they helped fight fires. Was there any particular place you remember fires catching on fire?
no, it was usually back of Cold Creek, back in the mining areas where they'd have.
Still have them today, don't they? They still have fires up there today. This is some of the CCC boys working on one of the cabins up there. I guess that was probably in the early '30s.
Yeah.
I think one of those guys is wearing a floppy hat. This is the cabin that is still up there.
It looks familiar.
Did you ever, I know you said you went to Clinton mostly. Did you ever go to Lake City? Not very often.
No, that was known as a rough town.
Okay, still is. Still is.
You didn't dare go to Cold Creek by yourself.
Cold Creek, it's called Cold Creek back then, you're right. I noticed on one of these, they had a little skit that they were doing. Do you remember any skits that y'all did where they all dressed up? Now, this is probably the camp on top of the hill you were talking about, which is probably the camp that had the fountain that I was telling you about. Did you ever go to any special events in the park itself, like in the amphitheater?
Can't remember ever
Can't
going
remember.
to one.
When you were working here, that was about the prime time they were working on the H-bomb down in Oak Ridge. I know that was secretive, but did some of that secretive stuff
There
ever
was
filter
no
out?
such thing as Oak Ridge.
Y'all had no idea about it, huh?
No.
So they did a good job of keeping it secret.
In fact, when I was out in the islands, somebody mentioned in a letter to me about Oak Ridge being close to Clinton, and I said, there's no such place.
So you guys never had no knowledge of that place.
No, that was cornfields.
And you know what was funny is we heard that when they really started to work on the bomb pretty actively, a lot of those folks stayed in cabins up here in the park. And some of them stayed in trailers in the campground in the mid-40s, working on that bomb, that, and, you know, they would commute back and forth.
I guess they would, because actually the roads were mud holes
Where they,
in Oak Ridge in the beginning. Some of the old timers tell me.
That wouldn't be you, though.
I see H bones is
I've heard people say that they'd go to work when there wasn't a house on the street, and when they came home, there'd be old houses there. And we lived in one of those when we first moved to Oak Ridge, flat top, they called them. And,
Now,
go ahead.
Those are the first modular houses pretty much ever, was open flat
but there wasn't an inch of empty, space in them.
Right.
Everything had its place. We lived in one a couple of years.
Another question I have is, the recruits ate separately than the officers, is that correct?
You mean the CCC boys?
Yes,
Right.
they eat separate from
Yeah.
from the officers.
Yeah.
The officers would.
The officers had a table and usually ate before the troops got there.
Okay.
And they were out of the way and gone when we get there.
I guess you'd, like you said earlier, you'd have to be friends with, the felon, but could you go back for second helpings?
Oh, yeah.
You could, no problem. You could get as much to eat as you wanted.
Yes.
Snacking, what about snacking in between meals? Could you go in there?
There was no snacking.
No snacking. You had to go buy it at the
But
counter.
now, right underneath the cafeteria, right in the middle, is where the baker did all his baking. And I used to go over there about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the first rolls started coming out.
So they were the best.
And it turned out that later, he first got to know my wife. She worked for a doctor for years in Oak Ridge. And his family came to the doctor. And I got to be good friends with him again after that.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
did the baker live in the camp?
Yes.
He lived in the camp?
He was one of us.
He was one of them.
Yeah.
So he was a recruit.
Mm-hmm.
He was your age.
Yes. A little older, but
Little older.
my age, yeah.
He was paid 30 a month, or maybe a little
Right.
more, because he.
Uh-huh. Probably paid 36.
Okay.
Did they choose him to do that job because he was good at cooking, or did he just get selected?
I really don't know. He was already the baker when I got there.
So he had to get up earlier to
Oh,
make
yes.
morning biscuits.
He got to sleep a lot during the daytime. Yes, he had to get up real early.
Yeah.
And do you remember some boys being punished for laying out of work, or missing work, or not doing something right?
You just didn't do that.
You didn't do that?
No.
Because what I had read, they got extra duties and they might have to clean pots and pans.
Well, that might happen occasionally, but not very often.
Not very often. They walk the straight and narrow, didn't
I'll have to say that most of them were, used a little common sense.
they? Need more of that today, though. Guys, do you have any more questions? Because I'm about questioned out. And anything you want to tell us, stories that you have, that fond memories, recollections, things that
Maybe she's heard a story that you could,
I think I've
kind of pushed
talked
him.
it.
Okay.
One of the ones that I know.
Well, did you ever get a chance to communicate or work with other camps around Norris Lake, like over toward Lewiston and Big Ridge and that area?
Except, once in a while when they'd need help fighting fires and things like that, we got to know them a little bit.
So they were very, the camps were standalone pretty much.
Yes.
huh?
because we understood there was over 20 camps, CCC camps around the Norris Lake area. From the period of when it started to when it ended.
Well, I don't remember exactly where they were, but SP9 was the only one that was real close.
Right, right. I know I read a story that Miss Sharp sent me from the CCC Legacy about, and I don't guess that was you, but talking about two fellas taking the truck up to a site up above Andersonville, and they were taking food, and the one fellow had got him a little too much to drink, and he crashed the truck going up there, and he said food was everywhere, and they were trying to piece the food back together. Do you remember reading that?
No.
She sent me that story that somebody had sent, apparently another fellow that had worked, and
Yeah, I don't remember
said he
any
crashed
crash.
they crashed the truck going to take the food. It was going up toward Andersonville or Big Ridge. Mr. Jenkins, we surely appreciate you, and go ahead.
If somebody got sick in the camp, how would they get medical treatment?
They had a doctor on call, and I guess he was from either Norris or Clinton, and he'd bring a nurse if need be, or they'd take him to him.
Now, if they were really sick and they had to leave the camp, where would they go? You know?
Well, they'd go to the doctor's office, and if he felt like it, he'd send him to the hospital, which would be probably in Knoxville back then.
The lake was relatively new then. Did you see many motorboats? Did people use the lake for recreation much yet?
Yeah, but none of us owned a boat.
Yeah.
We had to have friends that had one, or maybe rent one.
But you did see some people out on the lake?
Oh, yeah.
The camp was called, from what we understood, Camp Kinchen. Do you remember that name, Camp Kinchen? And it supposedly was named after a fella, a recruit that drowned in the Norris Lake swimming. And so we had read several stories about the camp being named after him. Is that something that's ringing a bell?
No.
No? We had read that story.
I read in here what they called it, that I never heard much about, and I don't see it now.
Interesting. There's one place on the map that shows they stored dynamite down there. You remember that?
Well, they had dynamite, and I suppose around the garage area down there, they did have a secured building
Kept the dynamite.
that, yeah,
It was used for-
but I never. Don't know exactly which building it was.
And you said you had your metal, you still have your metal footlocker? It was
Yeah.
metal? Because most of them that I've seen were wooden. So
No.
you actually had a metal one.
Had a metal one, I paid $5 for it.
Green
Mm-hmm.
and so,
I still got it sitting in the bottom of one of my bedroom closets.
so that was at the foot of your bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you kept
Right.
underwear and things
In
like
fact,
that.
that's all me and the sergeant had, that and a dresser besides the bunk in our apartment.
Was there any particular names that, I know we talked about what the CCC boys were called, but was there any particular names that you guys called the camp down there?
No, we just called it TVA 45.
TVA 45. Although it was also known as CCC Company 494,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Yeah, that's on the pictures.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Interesting.
You wanna?
Well, I was gonna say, your little apartment that you lived in, how did you heat your apartment?
How did I get it?
How'd you heat it?
Heat it.
Oh, they had a pot-bellied stove that heated the supply room, and we had a door. We just kept the door open to the supply room because at night there was nobody in the supply room.
Okay. So you had to keep your own fire going at night?
Yeah, we had to keep our own fire going.
Did you have, you said you had one of those, but you didn't have one of these, right?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Okay. That's part of that new uniform.
Yeah.
And all your stuff was, most all your issued stuff was World War I type stuff. That's what you were saying earlier, wasn't it?
Well, it was Army stuff, yeah.
If we have time, if you could, we can run, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Please.
You said that at the dances they would play swing music. Do you remember any of the bands or any of the songs that were popular at the time?
Well, I hear old songs on TV once in a while that brings back memories to them, but I can't think of any of them right now.
That's Dorsey.
Yeah, and we still watch the Lawrence Welk reruns, and a lot of times he'll have play songs that we had then. That's what they call the camp.
Dewitt Kinchen.
Mm-hmm.
Dewitt Kinchen. Yeah, that's what we understood. I just didn't know how often you all use that
You
term.
hardly ever heard it called.
Back in behind the flagpole, to the right of the cafeteria, there is a bunch of brick. We can show you when we get down there. A brick that's in a circle. Does that ring a bell? A bunch of
That's where the steps were that went up to the canteen and the recreation area.
Okay. It looked like a fire pit or maybe something like that. You don't remember
I
it?
don't remember
Don't remember?
anything like that.
Because we found a lot of these steps that
Yeah, there's several sets.
that's still there. And
Step-
we've got the flagpole
Yeah,
located.
and it's grown up in briars around.
We'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Mr. Morgan has done a lot of cleaning up down there.
Tell them about when you and John went there and you saw the tree in the middle of the
Oh, yeah.
softball field.
Yeah, I was explaining to my son-in-law that this is the parade field. We used to play ball there. He said, "How'd you play ball with them big trees growing there?" I said, "That was 65 years ago."
Did you have a favorite type of dance, like the jitterbug or the Lindy Hop,
No.
Charleston?
I remember the jitterbug, and I loved to watch it. But I never was a jitterbugger.
Would you like some water? You got some
No,
water
good
here?
thing.
Well, if it's okay with you guys, and if anybody has any more questions, we kind of like to head down the camp for just a little bit, if you don't mind.
Say you want to keep that?
Well, sir, it's up to you. We would be awful grateful if you.
I don't have any use for it. It's just a couple or 4 or 5 pictures as far as I remember. That's about all.
We have we got an old lawyer's case downstairs that was from the 30s, and we started collecting various CCC artifacts. And we've been, believe it or not, most of them have been bought off eBay.
Is that right?
And these hats, these patches, those collar stuff, and we got this annual here a few weeks ago, and this annual probably has your picture in it somewhere, if the truth be known.
Well, I don't know. 1937.
It's 37, well, you're right, it probably doesn't, this was
He's not there
37,
yet.
so it was 40. They said this was a lodge. Can you see that picture there? Do you ever remember going in there?
No.
No. We've got the tea room, and it looks, I think that's Big Ridge, if I'm not mistaken, but, yeah, they said it was a lodge at P1.
That's Big Ridge.
I thought,
Absolutely.
I thought it was. It
Yeah, I
says
remember,
Norris.
I remember the curtains. We've got pictures of these curtains in them.
Must be when it was a restaurant.
That's when it was a tea room, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. We appreciate your time today. And maybe we kind of wanted to show you that we're trying to keep your legacy alive. We putting some signs up down there. Mark has cleaned up a lot of the area down there, and we're doing, you know, we've been doing programs for a long time, but now the signage and cleaning up the area is helping us to better tell people the story down there and show them the building sites and what went on and your legacy. If you don't mind, with using the information that you've given me, I'm probably gonna write up a little bio, a little couple of paragraphs about your life. Take those pictures that you have there, and Mrs. Sharp sent it to me. We're gonna design a sign about yay big using those 3 pictures. Down at the bottom, I'm gonna write up a little something about you and your work duties there. And if that works with you all, and we'd like to do that. That's something we're gonna try to work on the next few months and get weeks and whatnot and get situated. Because we're at a loss to find folks that can still tell the story.
Well, I went to that deal with Pickett, and there was 13 of us there, but none from this area.
Uh-huh.
I was the only one.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And all the fellows that I knew and got reacquainted with after World War II, they're gone.
And you're 90 now, right?
91. I'll
You're
be
90.
92 in July.
You'll be 92 in July. You were born in
21.
1921. The Morgan Silver Dog, is that what that is? I hear you. Well, guys,